and don'ts. A humble request to all the devotees to kindly keep their mobile phones on silent mode when the class is going on. Hare Krishna.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Namo Pankaja Nabhaya Namo Pankaja Maline Namo Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangre. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, chapter entitled Vidura's Talks with Maitreya, text number 51. Tato vayam mat pramukaya darte babu vimatam karavama kimte Babu vimatman karavama kimte Tvam na svachakshu paridehi shaktya Deva kriyarte yadanugrahanam Tato vayam mat pramukaya darte babu vimatman karavama kimte Tvam na svachakshu paridehi shaktya Deva kriyarte yadanugrahanam Tato vayam mat pramukaya darte Babu vimatman karavama kimte Tvam na svachakshu paridehi shaktya Deva kriyarte yadanugrahanam Mataji's. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Supreme Self, please give us, who are created in the beginning from the Mahat Tattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind directions on how we shall act. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. Purport. The Lord creates this material world and impregnates the material energy with the living entities who will act in the material world. All these actions have a divine plan behind them. The plan is to give the conditioned souls who desire to enjoy sense gratification a chance to do so. But there is another plan behind the creation, to help the living entities realize that they are created for the transcendental sense gratification of the Lord and not for their individual sense gratification. This is the constitutional position of the living entities. The Lord is one without a second, and He expands Himself into many for His transcendental pleasure. All the expansions, the Vishnu Tattva, the Jiva Tattvas, and the Shakti Tattvas, the personalities of Godhead, the living entities, and the different potent energies, are different offshoots from the same one Supreme Lord. The Jiva Tattvas are separated expansions of the Vishnu Tattvas, and although there are differences in potency between the Jiva Tattvas and the Vishnu Tattvas, they're all meant for the transcendental sense gratification of the Supreme Lord. Some of the Jivas, however, wanted to lord it over material nature in imitation of the lordship of the personality of Godhead. Regarding when and why such propensities overcame the pure living entities, it can only be explained that the Jiva Tattvas have infinitesimal independence, and that due to misuse of this independence, some of the living entities have become implicated in the conditions of cosmic creation and are therefore called Nitya Baddhas, or eternally conditioned souls. The expansions of Vedic wisdom give the Nitya Baddhas, the conditioned living entities, a chance to improve. And those who take advantage of such transcendental knowledge gradually regain their lost consciousness of rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. The demigods are amongst the conditioned souls who have developed this pure consciousness of service to the Lord, but who at the same time continue to desire to lord it over the material energy. Such mixed consciousness puts a conditioned soul in the position of managing the affairs of this creation. The demigods are entrusted leaders of the conditioned souls, and some of the old prisoners in government jails are entrusted with some responsible work of prison management. So the demigods are improved conditioned souls acting as representatives of the Lord in the material creation. Such demigods are devotees of the Lord in the material world, and when completely free from all material desire to lord it over the material energy, they become pure devotees and have no desire but to serve the Lord. Therefore, any living entity who desires a position in the material world may desire so in the service of the Lord and may seek power and intelligence from the Lord, as exemplified by the demigods in this particular verse. One cannot do anything unless he is enlightened and empowered by the Lord. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. All recollections, knowledge, etc., as well as all forgetfulness, are engineered by the Lord, who is sitting within the heart of everyone. The intelligent man seeks the help of the Lord, and the Lord helps the sincere devotees engaged in his multifarious services. The remaining part of the purport will be taken on Tuesday. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptan Sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna Anyam shahasta charana shravana tvagadin Pranannamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Katanchana smrute asmin duskaram sukaram bhavet Vismrute viparitam sya Shri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. Welcome all devotees to our Sunday morning Bhagavatam class. Thank you for coming for this beautiful mango festival for the pleasure of the Lordships. Today we are reading Vidura Maitreya Samvad, and we are especially reading the section where devotees are offering, the demigods, the Devtas are offering prayers to Karanodakshaya Vishnu. And if you see these prayers, especially the last 4 verses, the focus of the prayers is for enlightenment. They are praying, please enlighten us, give us direction. So that is the mood. And the Devtas are confessing in this section, very honestly, that they are telling the Lord that we are disunited because we are unable to concertedly work for your pleasure. So we are not united because of that. So therefore, we are begging you, please enlighten us, please educate us, by which we are always working for your pleasure. We want to work for your happiness. So that is the mood in which they are praying. And in yesterday's prayer, we saw, yesterday's verse, they were praising the Lord, which is one of the elements of prayers, glorification. And today they are asking, in this today's verse, that please award us with instructions. And they are begging, please give us perfect knowledge and potency so that we can serve you for the purpose for which we have been created. For Devtas have got some responsibility. So please bless us that we can do that properly. So like that. And today's purport is quite long. I have always asked to do only half the purport. So there are many, many nice points, but we can't cover all of them. I'll just take the first few sentences which really struck me when I was reading. So I'll just read that first few sentences which are very powerful. Prabhupada is writing here that Lord creates this material world and impregnates the material energy with living entities who will act in the material world. And then Prabhupada says all these actions have a divine plan. What is the plan? The plan is to give conditioned souls who desire to enjoy sense gratification a chance to do so. That is the plan. Then Prabhupada writes, but there is another plan behind the creation. To help the living entities realize that they are created for the transcendental sense gratification of the Lord and not for their own individual sense gratification. And this is the constitutional position of living entities. So when I read this paragraph, I was very impressed because, Srila Prabhupada is revealing the plan behind the plan. So, see, externally we hear in the Bhagavatam, we read what is obvious. When we read, some things are obvious. But there are preachers, some preachers, what they do, they see what is obvious and then they take deeper meaning. Or they take the instruction and they see how we can apply it in our lives. And they teach us like that. You have seen in the classes, they give, like practical application, case study from modern life. So that is the second level. First level is simply take as it is and repeat as it is and share with each other. Second level is some intelligent preachers, they take and then they take the modern context and they try to make it applicable. But there are pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada who go even deeper and they hear and see what is not obvious. You will see many times, like Srila Prabhupada here is revealing that there is a plan of the Lord. So the obvious plan is give facility for the living entities because they want sense gratification, so here is the plan. But Prabhupada is saying there is another plan. That is, we belong to Krishna. We have to satisfy Krishna's senses. See, if the Lord gave only suffering to us, then we get frustrated and we would have cursed Krishna. So what Krishna does, he gives enjoyment also, opportunities for sense gratification. But if only pleasure is available in material world, then we will not surrender to Krishna. So Krishna has made a perfect plan. Little bit enjoyment and suffering also. Suffering is more than enjoyment. But if all of us, and the best part is, all of us don't suffer at the same time. See, if all of us suffer at the same time, what will happen? We all will come together and we will pass a resolution and declare that material world is miserable. But Maya Devi is so expert, she will not give all of us suffering at the same time. So, like yesterday, I was talking to one devotee whose father passed away. And yesterday evening, I was talking to somebody whose wife gave birth to twins. Birth, death, then somebody gets cancer, news that they have cancer. You see, everybody is not going through tragedy at the same time. There is a roller coaster ride, and we go through all these different emotions. So what happens at such time when we all come together like this and hear Bhagavatam class, study scriptures, then we get realization, oh, this material world is miserable. So there are two things here. We do our responsibilities, we do what we are supposed to do, and also study scriptures. When both things are going on, then we realize, sorry, papre, this is bad, material world is bad. I want to go back to Krishna. I'll repeat, there are two things. Culture of responsible living in material world. That is very important. And then second is, what is second? Scriptures. Both are important. Both combination is there. If somebody is only responsible living, I will take all responsibilities for my family, I will do very nicely, it will not get realization. Because you will keep trying to get happiness. You will never give up, because material world, hope dies last. We hope against hope. Prahlad Maharaj says, Punah punah charvita charvananam. We will keep chewing the chewed. Despite getting suffering, because we are not connected to scriptures, Bhagavatam, we will have hope of enjoyment. It's very important. See, our Shyamanand Prabhu gives the example that in the mid-1980s, when ISKCON had not even, like this place was not under ISKCON, there was a Gurukul here. So that was a lot of very challenging situation it was. Some of the boys were very, they were like rowdies. And so it was very tough to manage that Gurukul. So that time he was saying that sometimes one of the boys, if all the other boys wanted to beat him up, what they would do in the night when he was sleeping, many boys would come and put, same time, all of them would put blanket on him, different blankets. So suddenly 15 blankets would be on top of him. And then they all would jump on him and kick him and hit him. And after hitting him, kicking him for a long time, then they all would run away. So by the time he removed all the blankets and then he saw, everybody would be sleeping. So he would not know who bet him. So then that person would be very badly beaten. So Shyamanand Prabhu says, we are all like that. You know, material energy, Adhyatmik Klesh, Adibhautik Klesh, so many coverings, Prakshepatmika, Avaranatmika coverings, and then we get nicely beaten. By the time we try to understand, we can't understand what is happening. Therefore, we need scriptures. Scriptures is like somebody coming and telling, Aapko usne laat mara, usne gusa mara, isne ye kiya. We come to know when we read scriptures what is happening to me. And then we realize, arey, yahan se bhagna hai, ye to danger place hai. So therefore, it is very important that we have scriptures also. Not just simply going on with our duties. Both are needed. Like, you know, this Kailash story, we always keep saying. There was this Kailash who never wanted to practice spiritual life. Narad Muni told him, see, he said, no, I'm a small boy, I want to play. Then he said, now I'm studying. Then Narad Muni again came after some years. Kailash said, no, now I'm married, you know, now I have responsibility. Like that, he kept refusing. So, that is our situation. Shankaracharya says, Balastavat krida sakta, tarunastavat taruni sakta, vruddhastavat chinta sakta, pare brahma kopi na sakta. In the childhood, Balastavat krida sakta, attached to playing. Balastavat krida sakta, tarunastavat taruni sakta. In the youth, boy and girl, attracted to each other. The time goes in that. And in the old age, vruddhastavat chinta sakta. So then he's saying, pare brahma kopi na sakta. When is there a time for understanding the goal of life? But nowadays it's all topsy-turvy, because we are not living in the real world, we are living in the virtual world. So things are very messy. If Shankaracharya was alive today, he would have changed the verse. He would have said, Balastavat chinta sakta. Children have so much anxiety. 7th standard children, 8th standard children, they want stress management seminars. Like, you are shocked. Vruddhastavat krida sakta. I saw in one airport, old people, I saw two old men, they were sitting next to each other and there was a big screen and they were playing some football and they were trying to win. It was intense. I was like, wow, Vruddhastavat krida sakta. So life is tough. But some people go to the other extreme then. They come to Hare Krishna, they say, I will read scriptures and I will just understand the dangers. But then because they don't take responsibility and they don't deal with the material energy in this material world at all, and they don't see suffering, then they lack the ability to empathize. Their heart becomes hard. So, and then they may give painful instructions to their people they are preaching to, which is difficult to follow. So there is a balance. Culture has to be there. Responsibility also, and coming for Bhagavatam classes, hearing like that. So I'll repeat. Many of us are sincere, like many of us, what we will do, we will hear Bhagavatam, we will go and tell our friends and family, this is what I heard, as it is, peaceful life. But there are some who are intelligent, they are like, their intelligence is always active. So they will analyze, they will see how it can be applied in our day-to-day life. But Srila Prabhupada goes to the heart of Krishna. Pure devotees, they try to see what is Krishna saying and what does he want. That is why Prabhupada is able to read between the lines and say that there is a plan behind the plan. So I was hearing one class of Prabhupada. This is July 24, 1971, on Ajamil section in New York, 6th canto. Now generally if you see, how does Prabhupada begin the class? He'll say like this. So, material world or something like that. In ISKCON standard, we begin the class by saying, so, Parikshit Maharaj, our Sudama Prabhu was saying, in Bhagavatam classes, why devotees sleep so much? Because the speaker begins by saying, so. So, we use the word so many times. So, generally, you will see Prabhupada saying, so, Parikshit Maharaj is saying like this, or this is verse, or Prabhupada will take the meaning of the word. But this is a very special class. You know how Prabhupada begins the class? Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Prabhupada is glorifying the compassion of a Vaishnava. I remember when I was hearing this class, there is nothing, it appears nothing special to a casual observer. But I was like, suddenly I was hit by this. Why Prabhupada is saying Vancha kalpatarubhascha? Generally it doesn't say that. So then I again went deeper, like I went to the verse, the 6.1 point, I think 18 to 23. Then I went to the purports. There was nothing about Vaishnava's compassion and all that. So I was like, why Prabhupada is, there is nothing obvious to the naked eye. But then I could see Prabhupada, then I continued hearing the class. And Prabhupada is saying, oh, Parikshit Maharaj is very compassionate. He cannot see people are suffering and going to hell. Because the previous canto, 5th canto, has ended with all hellish descriptions. So now he's saying how people can be delivered from hell and suffering. So Prabhupada enters the mood of Parikshit Maharaj. And then he's saying how he is compassionate. Actually, Prabhupada is also compassionate. But he's saying Parikshit Maharaj is compassionate. And then Prabhupada starts, there's a saying, it takes one to know one. Prabhupada knows Parikshit Maharaj. So then he enters into that whole dynamics of how a Vaishnava goes through suffering so that others don't suffer. And he starts explaining the Haridas Thakur's compassion, Vasudev Dutt, so many examples. And when I was hearing this lecture, I was like, it was all wow moments, There are many lectures of Srila Prabhupada disciples, they will reveal their deep love. They will not simply go by the words, because they're meditating on Krishna. So, we say in relationships, when somebody is talking, rephrase the content and reflect the feeling. If you do that, then you actually understand what the person is saying. So similarly, pure devotees, when they hear Bhagavatam, they are not simply hearing the words. They are entering Krishna's heart. They want to be with Krishna, and they're also hearing attentively. So like that, so scriptures can be seen at these 3 levels. First is at our level, where we just repeat in our own words. But second level is where devotees, they try to connect through case studies and examples. But third is the unspoken, what is not spoken. Like one devotee was telling me that his wife is so expert, He's saying, when I come back from office and I just keep my things and sit on, and I take a shower and sit down for prasad, just in that 10 minutes, my behavior, she understands what has happened in office. She knows whether I was angry today in office, or whether I had a good day, or whether I was flirting with some female colleague, what I was doing, everything she comes to know. She has some sixth sense. And I said, how does she know that? He said, because she has deep love and she's possessive. So she comes to know just by the body language. So the point I'm trying to make is, pure devotees of Krishna, they are like that. They are very attached to Krishna. So when they read scripture, they're not simply reading the words. They are in that Krishna space. So I know the question that is there in your mind now, how can we reach that level? All devotees want to be in that level where they can be like pure devotees, understand the deep meaning of scriptures. So the answer to this question was given by His Holiness Srila Radha Swami Maharaj once, recently. He said in one class that when we are reading scriptures or hearing classes, we should allow the scriptures, we should allow the Bhagavatam to influence us. I'll repeat. We should allow Bhagavatam to influence us. That means we should be open to receiving. Generally, we receive with our false ego also on. But can we trust the message of Srimad Bhagavatam and allow it to do what it wants? Like, one class I was hearing, Srila Prabhupada is seeing this, he was coming for the 22nd Avenue to give class. So he was coming from a shop and he saw these mannequins, that lady, so they want to advertise their clothes. So they'll have this mannequin, the lady is wearing that cloth. So then Prabhupada is giving the class, and how Prabhupada could connect. So Prabhupada says, so I was coming here, I saw one father and son walking, and the son looked at that lady. It is a mannequin, not a real lady. And he kept shouting and crying, I want that girl. So then Prabhupada is chuckling, laughing, as he is giving the example. Prabhupada says, so the boy was wanting that artificial girl. There is no lady there, but he was demanding. And then Prabhupada chuckles and says, and that father may be fancying the real girl who is inside the shop. And then Prabhupada says, but a yogi, a devotee, he will not even see the real girl. He will see the soul who is occupying that body. See how Prabhupada is taking us deeper. From such a small observation of material world, Prabhupada is able to immediately take it deeper. So therefore, our mind, unfortunately, we are so attached to material world, we are not able to see anything beyond our life and our world. But scriptures, they teach us how to see beyond. Even when we read scriptures, what we do, we see from our point of view only. Like, we have this camera on a phone. You've seen people, they take the camera always, they take photographs, they take selfies. So that camera is there to help you see things better, but that camera we are using, if it's a phone camera, we use it only for, my bandwidth is limited. I can only use it for my area of influence. But there is CCTV camera, which is superior to a phone camera. Even when you are sleeping, that camera will observe you. So there are advanced devotees, they will not simply use scriptures for their own, from their point of view. They will also try to see what the scriptures are saying. And then there is satellite camera. Satellite cameras expose. You may claim some things, but satellite camera can observe much deeper and much better. So pure devotees, when they read scriptures, they are seeing from Krishna's vision. They are seeing the whole world. They are seeing the whole creation from Krishna's vision, not from their vision. So therefore, it's important that we come and we hear Bhagavatam, study Prabhupada's purports. So, this class I was hearing, like yesterday I was hearing one class. This is amazing. September 10, 1975, Vrindavan, again on Ajamil section. Now, what is Prabhupada doing in this class? Generally what Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna, we should not fall down, we should do bhakti nicely, like that. But in this class, at least 5 times Prabhupada says, even if you fall down, it is okay, come to Hare Krishna. That you are not a loser even if you fall. And 2 or 3 times Prabhupada says, one should be serious, but the mood in that whole class is not about becoming intense in bhakti. The mood is somehow come to Krishna. Krishna, you are not a loser. Krishna will take care. And he quotes different verses which says you will get next life. So now you cannot say that, okay, I'll take this class and I will come to Hare Krishna and fall down. That is not the mood. The mood is compassion. Prabhupada's appeal. So therefore, we need to connect to pure devotees' purports, pure devotees' explanations. They are Vani. So like that. I want to read one quote of Srila Prabhupada. Please listen to this carefully. This is a letter Prabhupada wrote to one devotee called Bhagavatam on July 1972. So he says, what happens when we sincerely study scriptures and Bhagavatam? What happens? It's amazing. Just 2 lines. Try to always study our books and see our philosophy from different lights of directions and become convinced yourself of this knowledge. And without a doubt, Prabhupada is saying, without a doubt, what will happen? Prabhupada is saying 2 things will happen to you. Without a doubt, all your difficulties of mind will disappear forever. And you will see Krishna face to face. I'll repeat. So Prabhupada is saying, if you study Prabhupada's books, scriptures, sincerely, what will happen? 2 things. Without a doubt, all your difficulties of mind will disappear forever. Because all difficulty generally is mental games only. All difficulties of mind will disappear forever. And second, you will see Krishna face to face. Very, very important. So therefore, this is important, associating with scriptures, reading. I remember last year in Bhagavatam class, our Radha Prabhu asked a question to His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj. Maharaj, sometimes, we are devotees for many years, we know what is there in scriptures. We read, we know what is there. So now we want to hear something new. So is that right? Because we want some new angle, new analysis. Because we already know. If you come every day for class and if you read Bhagavatam, after some days you will complete, all the books once. So then what to do? Is that okay? And then Maharaj gave an amazing answer. And Maharaj said, just understand this point. He said, it is not important whether you know or not know. When it comes to spiritual subject matter, knowing is not important. Associating with that subject matter is more important. That means, even if you know, you come for the class and here, you are associating with that knowledge. That is more important. But then he gave the example. He asked Radhesham Prabhu, did Namacharya Haridas Thakur know the glories of the holy name? So he said, yes, Maharaj. So he knew all the glories of the holy name. So, what was he doing? He was associating with the holy name. More and more and more. He was not saying that I know now let me do something else. And after that, Anandan Prabhu asked a question immediately after that. Maharaj, we are committing so many offenses and we have to go back home, back to Godhead. We should not miss the bus, that mood, the same. Maharaj heard his question. Then again, Maharaj looked at Radhesham Prabhu only and continued the answer, saying that association of the subject matter is more important than knowing. And then he looked back at Anandan Prabhu and said, going back to Godhead is not important. Offering your heart to Krishna right now is more important. Associating with Krishna now is more important than what will happen later. So, therefore, this is study of scriptures. This is the way we come close to the Lord. So, like this, we need to study scriptures in that mood. Unfortunately, what happens, many of us, I'm blaming myself for this, when we hear Bhagavatam classes or scriptures, we want some logic, we want some analysis, which is good. But our problem is, always we want that, then there is problem. Like I was hearing 5-6 days back, I was walking, I was hearing my Guru Maharaj's class on Lord Chaitanya's ecstasies. Mahaprakash Leela. It was an ecstatic class. And suddenly I remember at one point of time I became restless. Like I was thinking, usme lessons kya? I was not getting any lessons. Some points, practical application, I was not getting. And then I paused. I said, why do I always have to speak in terms of logic and practicality? It didn't feel right. Sometimes we just have to hear Bhagavatam and Gaur Leela, Ramayana, without dissecting it into lessons. Because we need nourishment more than we need strategy. We need heart, not just the head. But unfortunately, what has happened with many of us, as we think we are intelligent, so we'll end up living in our mental space all the time. And so much that we miss Krishna entirely. I want to tell you two incidents, which has really profoundly affected me. One was in 2001 or 2, our Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj had come to Juhu temple, Radha Bihari temple, and all brahmacharis we left to go and hear from him. So he was 94 years old, elderly Swami. And that half an hour class, he's just saying, Krishna, chant Krishna's holy name. Hear Krishna Katha. He's looking at everyone. Krishna, and Bengali, that little Bengali accent. Krishna Katha, you are hearing? You are chanting. And I was looking at him, nothing. There was no masala, no analogy, no full, pure, condensed appeal of Krishna. And then after the class, 20 minutes he must have spoken. And then his disciples were helping him to walk to the car. He has to go out. And while going, he's looking at everyone. Harinam lena, Harinam, Krishna. Remember Krishna. Everyone is telling the only same thing. And I was just, we were going behind him, and then he sat in the car, and the only thing he spoke in that 45 minutes was Harinam and Krishna Katha and Krishna Seva. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. I was like, what is he? He has no agenda. He's 94 years old. He's just speaking the essence of his life. So we are doing all that. Ultimately, we have to come there. The second incident was with Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, which I have mentioned many times. Every time I say it, I feel inspired. When he came here, I was in the guest reception department. After serving him, after putting mosquito net for him, I was going out. I said, Maharaj, any other service? Maharaj said, yes. I don't leave anyone like that without giving them Krishna. So I didn't know what he meant. I thought he was going to transmit some mystical something. I'm going to give you Krishna. So I just stood there. Maharaj said, sit, I'll give you Krishna. So I sat down. And then Maharaj spoke pure katha. I think some Putana pastime or Aghasur pastime. Something he spoke for 10 minutes. And I was just listening. So after that I got up, I kept the water and everything. And then I said, okay, Maharaj, I will leave. Maharaj said, no, you can't go. I gave you Krishna. Now you give me Krishna. What can I give? So then I was like blank. Maharaj said, no, give me Krishna. And then Maharaj got up from the bed and he sat on the floor. Like you are sitting. He was sitting on the bed first and he was speaking. And then he got out of the bed and he sat on the floor. And I was sitting in front of him. And he said, yes, now give me Krishna. So then I gibberish. Something I remembered from some Bhagavatam, something. I spoke for 5 minutes. And then Maharaj was hearing like this. Like you are sitting and hearing. And then I finished. And then I was leaving. Maharaj said, thank you. This is the way we should interact. Give Krishna and receive Krishna. So the point I'm making is, we live in our mental world so much that we become like that, that example we give always in the class, frog in the well, you have heard? So what happens, we become that frog in the well because we think that my tiny world is everything. And that's why we keep looking for practical things in every class. So then, so much practical we look at that our bhakti shifts into what I like to call the determination mode. I am determined to get Krishna. There is determination mode is on. So what happens when the determination mode is on? Like if your determination switch is on now, you will come for the Bhagavatam class, make notes, and you will look for acronyms, skills, formulas, answers. We will want to improve. You want control, improve. It's a valuable phase. Don't misunderstand me. We need clarity. But what happens many times, it can trap us in our head. But there is another mode of bhakti also, which is called longing. Longing, aspiring, hankering to be with Krishna. वो भी एक off switch है. In that mode, devotees will be in the mood, oh, Krishna is so nice, I want to be with Krishna. Krishna is so kind. That mode, longing wala mode भी कभी-कभी on करना चाहिए. So when that mode is on, what happens, you will not look for control in the class. You will be like, you're looking for what? Connection, not clarity. अरे answer मिले नहीं मिले बस is temple space, Bhagavatam, Krishna Katha. We want connection. That is what we are looking for. We are not striving to, see, when the determination mode is on, we are trying to control. When the longing for Krishna, when that is on, we are not striving to manage devotion. We are hankering to feel devotion. We are allowing Krishna to enter the heart, not just the head. Because this is the space where Krishna Katha will nourish us. Because when we are in this space, Krishna, the Bhagavatam class we hear, that will speak of Krishna not as a tool for my improvement. Krishna is not a tool for my improving my life, but Krishna is the beloved Lord of my heart. I want to be with Krishna. That is the mood in which pure devotees hear Bhagavatam class. Like I remember, I'm telling you this example because recently only one devotee came to me. He said, Prabhuji, I came for Mangalarti to temple on Sunday. I attended full morning program. And then that time, this was not here. I was staying somewhere else. I was preaching. I had gone for traveling. So there, this devotee had come from morning. 4:30 Mangalarti is there. The class got over at 10 o'clock in the morning. So from 4:30 to 10 he was there. Then he associated with devotees, discussed Krishna Katha, everything. And then he went home. And then next Sunday when he came to temple, he was telling me this. That Prabhuji, I did all of this. I left temple and I went home thinking that I did 7-8 hours of bhakti in temple. But when I went home, I spent 4 hours on YouTube Reels and Facebook. And then I became miserable. See, devotees become more miserable than karmis. Because materialistic people, they will do all this nonsense and then they will feel they have wasted time or whatever. But devotees, they'll also waste their time, they'll feel bad they wasted time, then they'll feel guilty that as a devotee, how I could do this. But double misery. So he was telling me, Prabhuji, how can that happen? I did so much bhakti, I came to temple, why I landed up doing like this? So then I humbly suggested, I said, Prabhu, could it be that you are doing your sadhana in the head space? ऐसा हो सकता है ना, head space में sadhana, where determination mode is on, always. Like checklist is on. हो गया, मंगलारती हो गया, संडे का ये हो गया, ये सेवा हो गया, टिक 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 टिक. Head is satisfied, heart is not satisfied. So what will the heart do then? The heart will seek elsewhere. और कहीं से मिलेगा क्या दिल को? Because ये दिल है कि मानता नहीं. The head is on. You are doing. So therefore, Krishna consciousness actually means Bhagavatam class, chanting, everything actually means investing emotions in Krishna consciousness. Means we must allow ourselves to enter the heart space. We need to connect to Krishna. So how does that begin? I know because this question will be there. Prabhu, how do we begin then? How do we enter the heart space? Simple. Hear about Krishna at least sometimes, not in terms of what Krishna can do for me, but simply because Krishna is who he is. If you are only asking, how can I apply this class in my life? We say, no, how can I apply this class in my life? Always if you are asking this, then subtly the center of discussion is me. Because I want to improve my life. It's all about me. Even Krishna becomes a means for my end. Krishna is there, but he is for me. But love means what? Love means hearing about the beloved, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's joys. Not because it is useful for me, but because it is him. It is Krishna. See, imagine there's a relationship. So one person says, I love my partner so much. And I love so much, I only talk in the relationship. Now, will you call that love? In a relationship, you should also hear also, no? Similarly, in study of scriptures and Bhagavatam class, if every class is only giving us practical takeaways, then are we leaving any space for being with Krishna, relishing Krishna? Let us say you learn nothing applicable in the class. For example, there is nothing practical in today's class, for example. But still we have heard about Krishna. We have heard the name Krishna. Krishna has entered our heart. We have gained something eternal. Are we willing to do that? See, because when we are attracted to Krishna, we will feel for Krishna. We we are operating in the longing mode. Remember the two modes. What is the first mode? Determination. And what is the second? Longing. And that longing, that connection with Krishna is more valuable than all the self-help style takeaways that we get in practical classes. So let us today ask honestly, where is our heart seeking love? Ask yourself. Don't have to answer me. Where is your heart seeking love? Is it seeking love from material world? Or is it seeking from Krishna? Let us say you have decided, Prabhuji, my heart is seeking love from Krishna. Then let us hear about Krishna on Krishna's terms. Means sometimes impractical, sometimes mysterious, but always beautiful. Krishna is most wonderful personality. So now please don't get me wrong. That is important. It is important that we have practical application when we hear scriptures, because sadhana bhakti is all about anchoring through structure, through balance. So we are not against it. Don't go to the other extreme. We need guidance, we need structure. That is there. But what is the dominant language in our bhakti? Is the dominant language tick boxes, acronyms, formulas? What is it? If that is the main language, then the heart ko humne vanvas kar diya. Exile. So we start managing bhakti. We start managing bhakti than living bhakti. That is our situation. So therefore, many of us prefer to operate on the determination mode, because can anybody answer why we like to be in the determination mode in bhakti more than longing mode? Huh? That is there, yes, that is there. Yes, competitive nature is there. But in general, we like to be in the determination mode more than longing mode because? Yeah, we can do something. I heard one word here, somebody. Control, I heard control. Who said? Control. Because determination mode on rata hamesha. Because in determination mode, it gives us it feels controllable. Bhakti, I can control bhakti. Because, determination gives us a sense of movement, achievement. And we think, sab abhi acha chal raha hai. But bhakti ultimately is about depending on Krishna. It's about surrender. Krishna, I am yours. It's not about control. See, determination is needed. Now, again, you can't say, Prabhuji ne aisa bola aaj class mein. Don't go to the other extreme. Determination is important. Why? Because determination will give us discipline. Bhakti mein we need discipline. But that longing is what gives us surrender. It actually creates space for grace, blessings, when we long for Krishna. But longing is abstract. आप बोलोगे प्रभु जी कैसे लॉन्ग करने का कृष्ण को, तो ये बहुत वेग लगता है, abstract लगता है, and also it is risky. Actually, it is not abstract, it is risky, because for longing, you have to be vulnerable. Matlab, it means you should be okay not getting answers when you come for Bhagavatam class. You should be okay sitting before Krishna with an open heart. We don't want that. We are scared of not getting answers. We are scared of not having control. So we don't want to long. We prefer to be switching on the determination mode always. And we prefer logic. Arey class mein logic tha, logical tha, practical tha, Prabhuji. But we don't realize that logic is a servant. Logic is not a master of devotion. We have made logic as, see, there is rasa, Krishna rasa. Rupa Goswami says, Krishna defines Krishna as Akila Rasamrita Murti. The logic should be servant of rasa. What we have done is, logic has become the filter by which we are deciding if something is worthy or not worthy. No. Logic, baad mein rakho. We have to connect with Krishna first. So therefore, hearing about Krishna in Krishna's terms is crucial if we want to make advancement in bhakti. So therefore, we have to know Krishna not simply as my problem solver. Like one devotee said, Krishna is my life coach. I read Bhagavad Gita, I get all life answers for... That is great. But we should also hear about Krishna as who is himself. He's playful, he's mysterious, he's beautiful, he's independent of my needs. That is the difference between Gaudiya Vaishnavism and all these semantic religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all those religions, for them, God is somebody who is busy working for me. God is my daily bread provider. God, God has no existence. If He's not doing something for me, then what is God? But in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Krishna will do Ras Leela. He will enjoy whether you are struggling in your exams or you've lost your job. Krishna is and that's where we need to enter that space. Krishna, I love you, Krishna, for who you are. So when we hear pure Katha, where Krishna is not the means, but Krishna is the end, then our heart starts beating in love. Therefore, one of the biggest misunderstandings many of us in modern Krishna consciousness we are victims of is that we start asking questions, what can I apply from this class? Always. Then quietly we are bypassing the heart. If you're only thinking, what can I apply? What can I apply? We measure the class by the notes we take or by... Can we change it? Can we measure a class by, did I feel for Krishna something today? Did I miss Krishna a little more today? Then our coming to temple is success. I'm missing Krishna a little bit. More than yesterday, all these things will not show up in the bullet points when you make PPT. It will not show up there. But the heart becomes more soft. So therefore, unfortunately, when we don't activate the heart, Hare Krishna devotees, sincere devotees can become victims of bad things. They can betray their own values because if the spiritual activity is done without feeling for Krishna, then paradoxically, spiritual activity is supposed to make us peaceful, but look at the paradox, look at the irony, the spiritual activity will make us restless because the heart is not engaged. So then what will happen? When the heart is not engaged, we will turn to the next thing that is available to fill that gap. And social media is always ready to oblige. But that also doesn't make the heart happy, ultimately, because it's a painkiller. Therefore, we have to get out of the head space, sometime at least, and simply hear. If you hear Prabhupada's class, it's amazing. Like, if you hear Prabhupada's class, in one sense, all classes are same only. Every class you will say, so, you rascal. When you hear that, you feel loved. You feel, arey, maja aa gaya. Dadaji pyar se daat rahe. So, because, see, when we do bhakti only in the determination mode, it may look right, but it doesn't satisfy. Therefore, we need to seek that connection, because then we'll get realizations. We think realizations also we will get by thinking. Realization we don't get by thinking. Realization is received. So for receiving, we have to connect, we have to hear, we have to be in that space. So, we'll have some questions, but before that, I just want to make one very important point. See, when we manage bhakti rather than living bhakti, we miss Krishna. Managing bhakti means, having schedules, goals, checklists. It gives a sense of control. Many of us feel that. But living bhakti means being vulnerable. Ability to come in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, my chanting was very bad today. Krishna, I'm not a devotee. Krishna, ability to be vulnerable, to express ourselves naked to Krishna. It means opening the heart, surrendering to a process that we cannot fully grasp. We cannot predict. Can we? See, control, we prefer control. We prefer determination because control feels safe. You feel you are safe when you are in determination mode. But love is risky. In this world also love is risky. So we are feeling risky with Krishna also. And also, I don't know about you, but wherever I travel, I see, we have generally trained, like even in India now, we have been trained from childhood to grow up in a result-oriented culture. We should get results always. So in Hare Krishna also, we equate effort. I'm chanting 16. We equate effort means outcome aana chahiye, result aana chahiye. So therefore, it is easy to measure rounds, classes, seva hours. This week I read 7 hours. But it is hard to measure longing. How will you measure? How will you measure humility? It's difficult. So what we do, default setting kya karte hain hum log? Let me manage bhakti. And let me track bhakti. Because even if the essence is missed, it's okay. But at least this I can track. And also there is a subconscious fear I've seen. Many devotees have this fear that oh, what if my bhakti is not good enough? See, somewhere if you sit quietly with your bead bag, you will realize, my bhakti is not good. But instead of simply accepting that I'm not a good devotee and I need to be humble, what we try to polish and manage bhakti, because then it looks better to ourselves also and to others also. We can say, I'm doing nice, I'm doing so much seva. Because managing bhakti becomes a coping mechanism for us to avoid facing our internal insecurities. We have some insecurities, we don't want to face it. We don't want to offer that to Krishna for healing. So we just manage whole day bhakti. And also, it's unfamiliar. Heart space is very vague. It's unfamiliar for many of us. Also, it is threatening, because if you sit with the holy name, you'll end up crying, or you may get, like Bhurijan Prabhu does this. Anybody attended Bhurijan Prabhu's holy name seminar? You know what he is doing is amazing. In Govardhan, they do this work seminar. There is one session where you have to sit with your bead bag for 6 hours. You have to chant with all the devotees. And if you get bored, you are given option. Now, you cannot get your phone there in that japa session, 6 hours. So, what Bhurijan Prabhu does, personally goes to everyone and checks the pocket and bag. Phone hai kya? If the phone is there, he takes it away. You cannot take phone to that session. That's a session where it is a session for longing for Krishna. So, how does he do that? Longing for Krishna. First, phone nahi leke aane ka. Second, chant. You say, but 6 hours I cannot chant. Okay. He will give paper and pen. He says, when you are bored of chanting, write. But I cannot write, then chant. You can't chant, write. Nothing else. You can't say, I will write on my phone, computer. No, because wo phone mein koi dusra dekhega tum, time pass. So, it's amazing. So, I know one boy, I can't take his name, he's very sweet. And he's always a hard worker, doing things, and he's very sweet. From childhood, he's a devotee, and he's a big manager. So, he went for Bhurijan Prabhu's retreat. He didn't know that aisa session bhi hoga. When he started, he never writes. In fact, he has forgotten how to write, because he's always texting. So his thumb and fingers are active, but he doesn't know how to write. Oh, out of touch ho gaya wo. And then Bhurijan Prabhu is saying, you write or chant. So chanting, to bichara, he can't chant more than 16 rounds. So after 16 rounds, what? Writing. Writing mein bhi writing ka interest hi nahi hai usko. But jhak maar ke karna pada. Because there is no other choice. That's you have to take sankalpa, vow, and do that. So he says, I started writing, and then after that initial struggle, I wrote so much. I realized how far away I am from Krishna, and I became emotional. And he was telling me, I have always seen him as a tough, stoic person. But such a stoic person also became very emotional. He says, Prabhuji, I was crying. I was crying the whole time. And then 6 hours, kaise gaya, samjha hi nahi. I was chanting, then writing, chanting, writing. Because the longing space, jo hai na, it is beyond simply tick boxing. So but we get stuck in the head because it feels more manageable. But bhakti is inherently a heart process. That is the point humbly I wanted to share. And also I think we have our institutional and cultural expectations. I think, we generally, external conformity is preferred over internal transformation. So you have to conform to all the rules, regulations, and therefore we become managers of our devotion than lovers of Krishna. Who are you? A manager of your devotion or a lover of Krishna? Manager of my devotion. So we check boxes, but we don't check our heart. That is our problem. And therefore, as a teacher also, like I'm teaching Bhagavad Gita or something, I know when you're teaching Krishna consciousness as a preacher, it is easy to teach how to manage bhakti. It's not easy to teach how to love Krishna. Our Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj, when he opened the Bhuvaneshwar temple, what is the first sentence he said? The inauguration of the Bhuvaneshwar Krishna Balram temple. We have opened a crying school here. That is the first sentence he said. It's a crying school. We teach how to cry for Krishna. But for lesser preachers like us, we don't know what is crying for Krishna. We cry because the material energy is kicking us. We don't cry because we are feeling love of Krishna. So therefore, it is easy to teach how to manage bhakti than to love Krishna. So therefore, I can teach you how to wake up early in the morning, how to chant 16 rounds, 3 P's, posture, pronunciation, prayerful mood, all the techniques we will give. But how to live bhakti, how to cry for Krishna, I don't know. How to feel Krishna's presence, I don't know. How to long for Krishna, I don't know. It's hard to teach. So therefore, avoid that. Let's only talk about head. Because Krishna is real, Krishna is present, Krishna reciprocates. But unfortunately, he has become the subject of our discipline. He has not become the subject of our love. See, managing bhakti requires skill, but loving Krishna requires faith. It requires us to sit, be with Krishna. So therefore, let us make this shift in our Krishna consciousness. And then we will be able to hear the unspoken. We will be able to feel love for Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We can ask some questions now. But before that, I want to say, please, after the question answers, please don't leave immediately. Radheshwar Prabhu said there is a very, very special, sweet announcement. So please stay back for that announcement after the question answers. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions regarding today's class? Yes, Prabhu. Mic aa raha hai.
Hare Krishna. Guruji, excellent class, very wonderfully explained in terms of the two modes. One is about doing and being in the
longing
head as well as longing. I could relate this to one of your earlier classes where you had actually mentioned about two states, state of doing and state of being.
Yes.
And the state of doing is more about being in mode of passion, and we are always looking at different actions and focus on action.
Action. Yes. So you are saying doing and being mode, and doing is action. How to what? How to be?
How to move from that state of
doing to being. So the more we ask how to move from doing to being, we are stuck in doing. Because doing means what? Gap. There is a gap and you want to fill the gap. So I've seen one devotee, like he was telling me that, Prabhu, whole week I'm in the doing mode because I have to meet gaps. There is gap I have to fill. And I think that, okay, no problem, I will do all these things. Sunday I will come to temple morning, and Sunday whole day I will be in temple and I'll feel happy. But he said, Prabhu, because whole week I'm in doing mode, when I come to temple and I'm sitting in Bhagavatam class also, I'm thinking, next week I have to do this, I have to send this email, I have to buy groceries. Again the doing mode starts. So therefore, the best way to move from doing to being is, when you are in the middle of an activity, don't be in a hurry. Like let's say you have put an alarm for, say, the next 2 hours. For the next 2 hours, let's say you are going to chant. For the next 2 hours, don't look at the watch. Or don't get up and do something else. If you want to enter the being space, you have to learn the art of embracing pain. We generally, from childhood, we have been trained how to avoid pain and get a relief. That's why when we feel bored while chanting. Anybody feels bored while chanting? Wow, so nice. So you raised your hand. So we feel bored. So what do? Because we are not doing, we are doers. And chanting is all about being with Krishna. See, if you are told to do Bharatanatyam, play karate, or play tennis, you feel that is more active, more nourishing because you are doing something. But chanting, sitting with the holy name, we have to offer our heart. We have to offer our emotions. So we feel we have the smartphone then. Because it helps us get relief. But if we sit with that pain, embrace that pain, okay, I'm getting bored. If you can say this, like for example, you're chanting and you're feeling bored. Generally what people do when they're bored, they check WhatsApp message. But let's say, now change the game today. Today when you're chanting, do like this. Hare Krishna, you're feeling bored. And you say, Krishna, I'm finding this chanting extremely austere, but I want to prove to you now that I love you. I want to prove to you that I'm sincere. So it's painful for me to sit for the next 1 hour here in the temple hall, but I will sit to prove to you that I'm sincere. Krishna, so when that is longing. We have gone from the determination mode to longing mode. So what happens then? You have learned to embrace the pain. And then 2 hours ke baad, because you have sat with that, you will realize, Arey, maja aa gaya, Harinam mein aanand aa gaya. Because Krishna, that choice you have made, na, of choosing Krishna even when you are not ecstatic. That choice is more powerful than 100 Kirtan Melas that you attend. Because Kirtan Melas we attend, we feel nice. That's emotional bhakti. Emotional bhakti is, maja aa gaya, Prabhu, kitna acha dressing, wow, the altar is beautiful, the Sangha is so nice. Earlier we were into sense gratification, now we want emotional gratification. I feel good, nice, nice. That is emotional bhakti. But existential bhakti, being bhakti is when, whether I feel good or not, I am with Krishna. Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. But same Prabhupada, in Chaitanya Charitamrita ending, last 2 chapters, he says, chant Hare Krishna and make Krishna happy. We are not chanting Hare Krishna to be happy. We have to make Krishna happy. So doing to being, we will enter when we come out of the head space that Krishna, I am yours and I want to offer. So simple exercise I will give you. Doing determination mode and longing mode ke liye, simple exercise. Let us say you are decided to chant, you chant 16 rounds, right? So let us say one day it's Ekadashi or some special day, and you have decided, I'm giving a hypothetical example. Some of you may be doing this. Ekadashi, I will chant, every Ekadashi I will chant 20 rounds, 4 rounds extra. So let us say some of you have made this plan. So today is Ekadashi, let us say, morning Ekadashi. Now what happens? 16 rounds जैसे खत्म हो गया, अरे अभी 4 करना है, क्योंकि एकादशी का मैंने vow लिया है. I have to do it. So determination mode is on. And then those 4 rounds you will do. You will tick the box, but your heart is not activated. So now, next Ekadashi, you will do like this. 4 rounds karna hai, because you have taken a vow. But instead of switching on the determination mode, how to switch on the longing mode? You take the bead bag, and before you start the 4 rounds, you say, the next half an hour, 4 rounds means 25 minutes. Next 25 minutes, I am with Krishna. This is my time with Krishna. This is not to finish my 4 rounds. This is the time for me to prove my sincerity to Krishna. So when we make that affirmation, we have switched on the longing mode. And in that mode, time ceases to exist. Then you are in the being mode, not in the doing mode. Our Shamanand Prabhu says this story that they were in Bangladesh Yatra with His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj in 2003. So at Narottam Das Thakur's Keturi, Maharaj went on an ecstasy. They went on speaking for 5 hours. And there was just 10 devotees sitting. 10 brahmacharis, and Maharaj is giving ecstatic class. So they started at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was going on till 8:30. Not stop. And then Gaurang Prabhu told Shamanand Prabhu, Prabhu, tomorrow morning we have to drive to Fulia. It is 5 hours drive and the roads Bangladesh are not proper. And we have to get up early and we have to leave early. And devotees are already sick with stomach problem and all that because of water, not all that, a lot of complaints. So we have to pack, we have to sleep early, get up early, leave. So then Shamanand Prabhu is saying, Abhi, kaise bolenge Maharaj ko? Gaurang Prabhu bol rahe, aap bolo Maharaj ko. Then somebody else is saying, Radhesham Prabhu. Everybody is sitting there and listening. And Maharaj is in ecstasy speaking, but the managers are thinking, Abhi, sort karna hai. So then what happened, Finally, Maharaj finished around 9 o'clock. Then they thought, okay, abhi khatam ho gaya, abhi jaake so jayenge, kal nikalna jaldi. Maharaj said, now we'll have kirtan. So then Shamanand Prabhu went and told Maharaj, tomorrow early morning, we have to get up at 2:30 and we have to leave by 3:30. So Maharaj, can we? And Maharaj just smiled. Maharaj said, okay, whatever you say. And then as they were going, Maharaj said, this is your problem. You are simply not present. Of course, that doesn't mean we don't plan. Again, don't go to the other extreme. But the point Maharaj was making was, you are simply not present. So if we can somehow learn the art of embracing pain, that is the way we can enter the being space. Now you will say, but how to embrace pain? तो उसके लिए कुछ आंसर दूंगा. फिर उसका जो भी आंसर आएगा आप बोलेंगे, how to do that? So you do it by doing it. Hare Krishna. Yes, we'll take any other questions? We'll take one more. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, last mein. Prabhu with the glasses. Yes. Mic is coming.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. Whenever I hear your class, they are all, I feel overwhelmed because you share your heartfelt realizations. So I just wanted to ask a question from your recent class where you were just explaining about the three things, the bhakti which we do ritualistically,
Yes.
and bhakti which we do emotionally and which we do experientially.
Existentially.
So is it, yes, so is it a gradual process that everybody can understand it just by doing it, or with the time one can understand, because when we are in practicing devotee, so until and unless we are put in some situations and then we go through those experiences, then it makes much more, we can relate with those things. So is it necessary that we go through those situations and then we understand it much better, or like we can just understand it hypothetically also?
Both, not hypothetically, both. You wait for, see, there are, what Chanakya Pandit says, how do we learn? First he says, you by reading scriptures, you learn, right? And 25%, reading scriptures means hearing. You learn 25% by hearing. He says 25% you learn by introspection. And 25% you learn by sharing. And remaining 25% you learn by time. Time will teach you. So time is there. That doesn't mean we don't practice also. See, that is, how do we rise from these lower levels of consciousness to being with Krishna? Our acharyas have explained that we need to stop judging our spiritual progress emotionally. I will repeat. Stop judging your spiritual progress emotionally. So if you are not feeling good, we think I'm not making advancement. That means we are judging spiritual progress emotionally. When I'm feeling happy, we think, I'm making advancement. That is again judging spiritual progress emotionally. So when we stop doing this, we make a lot of advancement. Which means I chant, even when I'm not feeling happy, my chanting may be pleasing Krishna. If I'm simply being with Krishna and I'm offering my heart. See, our enthusiasm is what pleases Krishna more than our feeling good. That enthusiasm is what will melt Krishna's heart. I think last class I was explaining here that we are attracted by the Diwali fireworks. But actually if you go to traditional Indian temples, you'll see this lamp burning in the altar for centuries it's burning. So the heart, we have to light a lamp of devotion which keeps burning. Not some flash. There is a difference between thrill of romance and joy of chastity. So we are attracted by the thrill of romance, but our relationship with Krishna is different. So joy of chastity means sometimes it will not be ecstatic chanting, but Krishna, I am yours and this is my offering to you. So therefore we need to value even those moments when we are not happy or not excited, knowing that this is pleasing to Krishna. And that enthusiasm will melt Krishna's heart. Sometimes we have to offer, sometimes devotees say, Prabhuji, mera heart itna ganda hai. Arey, theek hai na, don't wait to become pure devotee. We think, once I become a pure devotee, then I can offer Krishna. Right now, if you have a wilted flower, murja hua phool hai heart mein, you can offer that. Krishna, this wilted flower I am offering, sada hua flower, not because, we should offer good flowers. No, but this is what I have. Abhi ye hai mere paas, so what can I do? But I am offering this to you, Krishna. If you are waiting to become pure devotee and then you will offer the best to Krishna, then you are missing the chance of being with Krishna now. You are missing the chance of longing for Krishna now. You are missing the chance of connecting to Krishna now. We were in Sri Lanka Yatra, Govind Prabhu and myself, we had gone with congregation, BTG Yatra. So we were in a bus, we were going to Hanuman temple. This is a very, very important incident. Like Hanuman temple was on the top of a hill. And the bus was going straight for 5 minutes, then turning and again going up for 5 minutes. Then again like that we had to go for many long journey. So when the bus was going full speed, we saw one boy in front of our bus in the main road. He had all these 7 or 8 flower bags. Sri Lankan boy. in Sri Lanka. He's standing, 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy, dark boy, with the flowers, and he's waving at us, smiling, wanting us to stop and buy his flowers. But the bus fellow avoided him and went straight. And I saw that, I and Govind Prabhu saw that boy, but we didn't say anything. Then after we turned and went up, and after some time we saw that boy there also. Same boy. So what he did, he climbed through the hill, the shortcut, and he came in front of us and was waving. Again we bypassed him. Again, third round, like that 7 or 8 times, wherever we were going, he was there at the road. And the bus passed, and then again he would run up. So finally, I thought only I saw, and Govind Prabhu saw. But I think 5th or 6th time when that boy was standing, everybody in the bus unanimously shouted, "Stop, stop!" They made the bus stop. And that boy, they brought him inside the bus. And that boy came in, he was fully sweating. And he had these 5-6 bags with him. He was panting, but he was smiling. And he was selling his flowers. And those flowers were wilted. Matlab, sada hua phool tha, ekdam wilted. And I was looking at our congregation. Everybody purchased all the flowers. And they were giving 500 rupees. Sri Lankan rupee, Indian rupee, is much stronger than Sri Lankan rupee. Those flowers, first of all, they were wilted. Secondly, they must have costed just 1 or 2 Sri Lankan rupees. And here devotees are giving 500 rupees, 200 rupees. And taking all the flowers. Pura uska bag khali ho gaya, pocket bhar gaya paise se. And he's smiling, laughing, and everybody looking at him. And then he went. After he went, I looked at Govind Prabhu and said, "Prabhu, what did he do? He sold the most wilted flowers." And why we all got touched by his... What happened? Why did we buy all of that? Enthusiasm to give. Enthusiasm. Young boy, innocent boy, just standing. And so I remember that night in my journal I wrote, how did Krishna show up today? Amazing. He's teaching us, okay, I have wilted flower, I have nothing with me. But if I can come in front of Krishna, I'm showing up today. Hare Krishna, I'm chanting my 16 rounds today. I'm useless, I'm full of anarthas, but Krishna, I love you. I'll prove my sincerity today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So Krishna will buy our wilted flowers. You know, I know one Prabhupada disciple, he says this, that raat ko before sleeping, he says, light a lamp and put that lamp in front of you. He says, if you can't light that lamp, at least figuratively in the bed, when you sit down, light a lamp. And say, Krishna, I offer this light lamp to you. This is my lamp of love. Sometimes this light is fading, sometimes it's flickering, sometimes it is glowing, sometimes it is shaking. But I am offering this light, this love, not for getting something from you, but because this is my love for you. This is my offering. When we make that offering, not telling Krishna, always give me this, then we are moving from emotional bhakti to existential bhakti. Then we are rising from the thrill of romance to joy of chastity. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
We'll
Thank you
stop
so much.
here. We have a very important announcement. His Grace Radha Prabhu will make. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So there's a very pleasant announcement to be made. I would request Nadia Vishwambar Das to please stand up. Yes. So Prabhuji has been connected since the year 2008 to ISKCON Chowpatty, and his counselor is His Grace Nandulal Prabhu. He was part of the IYS from the year 2008, and he was connected to the Godruma Dweep base, that is the KEM hospital base. And also he was in the VTA of the batch 2019-2019 and engaged in multiple services during base and VTA stay. Participated in the Kartik Yatra Seva, his educational qualification, he is BSc in mathematics and working for Dentsu and designation as manager. So I would request Bharti Haripal Mataji to please stand up. Yes. So she is connected to the Bangalore Seshadripuram temple, and the service that she was rendering in the temple is college preaching and daily Prabhupada book reading session for ISKCON Vaishnavi Forum, IVF group of the girls. She's connected to ISKCON since the year 2021 during Kartik month, and her counselor is Her Grace Sudhamayi Haripriya Devidasi. She's a graduate in commerce and her work field is HR in learning and development. She's also having the same designation as Prabhuji, manager. And currently she's working for ABB India Limited, that is Asia Brown Boveri. So let us, with all our heart, very loudly chant and greet these two youngsters who are entering the Grahastha Ashram for a successful life in Grahastha Ashram and in Krishna consciousness. So let us loudly chant 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Your chanting is very important because they are here to seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Wireless. Wireless.